Christie is about to begin. Please turn to page 666.
From the pages of Sound of the Beast, your weekly heavy metal history lesson with Ian Christie.
Hey, greetings, it's Ian Christie. You're listening to Roots, your weekly metal history lesson on SiriusXM. This week, taking the all-terrain tank down to the jungles of Central America for a look at the roots of Central American thrash metal. Join me today for an introduction to bands like Chemicide, Conceived by Hate, Brain Damage, Intoxicator, Witch Goat, G.O.D., all hailing from Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Belize, and Florida. Starting here with some killer Panamanian thrash, inspired by the classic horror film Blood Spattered Bride. This is Sadic. We're looking at Central American thrash metal today. I'm Ian Christie on Roots. Yeah, some Central American thrash fun today on Roots. That was Sadic out of Panama with a track from their thrash slash and metal EP, Blood Spattered Bride. Welcome to Roots. This is your weekly metal history lesson. I'm Ian Christie. I wrote the book Sound of the Beast, the complete headbanging history of heavy metal. And every week here we look at a different style of playing metal, a different time period, a different movement when things changed, or, like this week, a different regional sound. I went hunting in Central America, the 7 nations of Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Belize, and Nicaragua, hoping to find something to write home about, and sure enough, yes, thrash metal is alive and well in Central America. Small surprise, after all. So many metal heroes came out of South America, like Tom Araya from Chile or Max Cavalera from Brazil. Well, today on Roots, it's time we introduce ourselves to the Central American bands that have stood up and said, hey, there's thrashing to be done. Tracks today from across the 7 nations. A lot of different varieties of thrash metal, ranging from extremely straightforward to layered, some heavily melodic stuff, some a little bit more on the blackened and deathly side of things. A very extremely unusual genre-bending band out of Belize, combining thrash metal and reggae. What's especially unusual about them is that it actually works. Usually that mixture ends up with total garbage results, but not in the case of Verge of Umbrook, very cool band that actually played Wacken Festival in Germany about 5 years ago. Plus, we're going to play one Florida band whose drummer has to be metal's most well-known Central American export. All right, let's kick it off. This is thrash metal. It's high speed. It's obsessed with nuclear war, violence, and partying. The song structures can be as simple as hardcore punk or as complicated as they need to be. The next batch of songs are going to be by Conceived by Hate from El Salvador, Canabica from Guatemala, kind of a cool mix of old DRI and, I don't know, something like Bolt Thrower or Doom or something like that. Atrophia in a couple minutes from Panama, Metal Requiem from Guatemala. This is Chemicide from Costa Rica, one of the few bands to actually break it north of the border and tour in North America. I'm Ian Christie. You're listening to your weekly metal history lesson, Roots, as we get hopped up and check out the Central American thrash metal scene today on SiriusXM.
Two California police officers will not face criminal charges for killing an unarmed black man. Two California police officers will not face criminal charges for killing an unarmed black man.
Until the rain begins, I'll block your cheek.
Christie. Bloody Roots. Liquid Metal!
Yeah, from a record called Crust Over. That's Cannabisa from Guatemala. And that is a winning combination that I've never heard before. Two varieties of metal punk crossing over. You've got the Discharge-inspired Birmingham sound that it's not really bolt thrower level of intensity, but, it's along that road, mixed in with the U.S., lighter, faster DRI style. I call that a winner. Hails to Cannabisa. Hails to Guatemala. Welcome back to Roots. This is your weekly metal history lesson. Checking out thrash metal active today from the 7 nations making up Central America. Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Belize, Costa Rica, Panama, and did I say Nicaragua? Yes, classic thrashers from Arizona, Sacred Reich, had the song Surf Nicaragua. You have to wonder how many of the Nicaraguan bands today cover that track at the many local and regional metal festivals that bring these bands together. It's just like anywhere else. There is a regional happening scene that's big enough to support small labels. The bands get their words out by Bandcamp, Facebook pages, and rare international spotlights like this show. And the scenes are big enough to attract enough headbangers to small regional festivals that are kind of like the lifeblood of regional music scenes, pulling every thrasher out of the woodwork to rejuvenate and get some FaceTime, get some eye-to-eye contact with everybody else who's turned on by this music in the same way in your area. Tons more examples of Central American thrash metal to come, going a little bit into weird directions with a cool band called Apes of God from El Salvador. More on the blackened side of things, but still totally a thrash band at heart. The Irredeemable Drunkards Brain Damage out of Costa Rica with a selection from their Why So Sober record. Then we'll have Intoxicator from Nicaragua, Conceived by Hate from El Salvador, some more breakneck blackened thrash metal by Witchgoat out of El Salvador, and something by a band from Florida with the best-known Central American metal export of all time. Start this next batch of the assault here with G.O.D. out of Honduras with a song called New World Devastation, one of the more polished offerings of this week's Roots of Central American thrash metal. I'm Ian Christie. You're listening to SiriusXM.
the pages of your heavy metal history lesson. Bloody Roots. Liquid metal!
ustedes toque reunidos ya. No hay buenas bandas en escenas para comenzar. Los metaleros todos concentrados, las chicas deben con sus trajes ajustados. La noche es larga, podemos disfrutar. No hay con cigarros el ambiente ideal. Con los colegas escuchando buen trash, todo adecuado para empezar. Luego en el centro inicia una reunión, una batalla ya se formó. La adrenalina comienza a fluir, llegó la hora de destruir. No te metas si no puedes soportar golpes, patadas de bigotas militar. Si lo que quieres sentir la acción de presión, vete conmigo y vámonos al boy. No te metas si no puedes soportar golpes, patadas de bigotas militar. Si lo que quieres sentir la acción de presión, vete conmigo y vámonos al boy. Destrucción total, golpeando sin control, respirando vueltas, inclinen de aniquilación. No te metas si no puedes soportar nuestras patadas de bigotas militar. Si lo que quieres es sentir la acción de presión, vete conmigo y vámonos al boy. No te metas si no puedes soportar nuestras patadas de bigotas militar. Si lo que quieres es sentir la acción de presión, vete conmigo y vámonos al boy. Total intoxicación, mi cabeza da vuelta, vomito sin control, flasher todos maníacos, únete al escuadrón, bienvenido a la demencia, Trash Alcoholic Divine.
Pages of Sound of the Beast, your weekly heavy metal history lesson with Ian Christie. Liquid Metal!
Buscando a callar
Yeah, breaking the thrash metal mold a little bit, but any kind of overview of intense metal from Central America has to throw a light on drummer Pete Sandoval of Terrorizer and the almighty Morbid Angel. Born Pedro Sandoval in El Salvador in 1969 and also known by the name Commando, one of the most groundbreaking and revered drummers in all of death metal. Well, this show is another fast one, but aren't they all? That's right, a full hour of thrash metal from the 7 Central American countries: Costa Rica, Panama, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and yeah, it's barely thrash metal, but you have to throw Florida in there for that Morbid Angel track. Thanks very much for joining me. Each week it is another insight into different styles of metal music, different movements throughout metal history, different key figures, or different regional sounds that define and shape this metal universe where we live. I'm Ian Christie. I wrote a book called Sound of the Beast, The Complete Headbanging History of Heavy Metal. And please reach out to me anytime online. Pick up some books at the mighty metallic bookshelf of Bazillion Points, bazillionpoints.com, featuring Swedish death metal, Metallion the Slayer Mag Diaries, Murder in the Front Row, Shots from the Bay Area Thrash Metal Epicenter, Choosing Death, The Improbable History of Death Metal and Grindcore, and many, many others, all at bazillionpoints.com. And we always put the pretty pictures up at Bazillion Points on Instagram. Thank you very much. Today's playlist, it's online at roots.bazillionpoints.com. You'll want to check it out to further delve into bands like Apes of God, Witch Goat, Conceived by Hate, Atrophia, Sadic, and Chemicide that we heard today, looking at Central American metal bands. Plus, you can always check playlists at roots.bazillionpoints.com and airtimes, and stream to your heart's content on demand at siriusXM.com. One last dose of Central American thrash metal here. Again, stretching the definition of thrash metal, but that's only one element in the huge stew of influences going into Belize-based band Verge of Umbra. I have to say, over the decades, I've heard a lot of attempts to somehow put together dub reggae or reggae music and metal, and it's almost always terrible. The exceptions would be like a band like Godflesh, who sneak it in a kind of surreptitious way that you don't even realize there's a reggae influence to what they're doing. With Verge of Umbra, it's completely on the surface, and it works. This band was chosen as a fan favorite, played at the world's largest metal festival in Wacken, Germany in 2017. Not only is there a reggae element to their music, but the metal side of things, it is actual Stockholm-style, oozing HM2 distorted guitar playing, and it sounds sweet. Leaving you with this innovative band pointing the way towards the future of metal, at least one brand new offshoot of their own invention, proving that, yeah, the future always comes from the most unexpected places. Thanks for joining me today, Roots of Central American Thrash Metal. I'm Ian Christie. This is Verge of Umbra. Let the chaos sequence begin. Know your roots.
sense, it brought discord, not trouble. In less than a fraction of a second, everything that was built was brought to a rumble. Everybody wrong could never bring it back to the eye that was before. Untamed, unchained, unpredictable, the mercy of the world.
This woman come for knowing that it's for a purpose. Eliminating all the doubt that has unhurt us. The grand finale, no time for dilly-dally. The fact that you're not my body, I want politely tell you sorry. The grand scheme, the bigger picture, life awaits. The sequences in all the numbers clearly calculate. Predestined premonition, free will, the choice for change. No need to live the ills of being shackled by the chains. Wish I could find peace of mind and freeze time in this chaotic life. Thoughts of a new life birth to a physical whole of mankind. Hard in the abyss with a serial killer in the school with the kids. Psychopath chilling in the room with your friends. Not too far from doomsday, but a bullet in the gun is a fool's way. When the evil take over, the people are feeling darkness over like blue gray.
New wave, movement saving 1,000 youth lives. Would not have done so if she wasn't used as a child. I'm careful how I analyze the damage already done. It's the chaos at the quantum level that brings the order above. I'm grateful for the comprehension my mind can afford. Decay and reconstruction for our eyes to adore. I hope to never forget this completeness I will feel when the sacred sequence of patterns reveal. Reveal, 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 reveal.
I try to see to beauty in the destruction of society.
Reality so hard, I hope it's just on my dream. This I got kick-started. I wonder where this all mean. Confusing puzzle parts. All I can't see from the heart tell me that there is a grand scheme. Reality so hard, I hope it's just on my dream. This I got kick-started. I wonder what this all mean. Confusing puzzle parts. All I can't see, but my heart tell me that there is a grand scheme. Wish I could find peace of mind and freeze time in this chaotic life.
You just heard Ian Christie's Bloody Roots, Liquid Metal's hour-long crash course in headbanger history. Hear it tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And stream Bloody Roots on demand with your phone or at home on SiriusXM connected devices and speakers. Go to SiriusXM.com/listen at home to learn more.